we can use a noun, or we may use a pronoun. So these nouns or pronouns could be in singular or can be in plural. We have to make sure. So accordingly the verb will be changed. Yeah, got it. So when the subject consists of two singular sorry when the subject consists of two singular or plural nouns could be in pronouns also, joined by this and this by joined by this and the plural form of the verb is used. It may be, this is the first rule that you have to understand. When the subject of a sentence started with two two singular nouns or two plural nouns. It may be, the subject may be in singular or it may be in plural, and make sure if those things are joined by this and the conjunction, we have to use a plural form of the verb. Let's see how it is going to be. See here, the president and the vice president. Sorry, it is wrongly typed here, so it's a typographical error. Please consider this one as the president. Okay, the president and the vice president. So here we have two different people. We are not talking about a single person, my dear. Remember that president is different and vice president is different. So, and both are in singular forms. Okay, as I have told you, arise this is here. So the president and the vice president. So we are not saying the president, and we are not saying the presidents. We are not saying the vice presidents. Okay, we're going to have only one per president and one vice president. So for which the president and the vice president, according to our rule, see here, the subject consists of two singular nouns. So this is consisting of two singular nouns. So the subject is here, the president, and the vice president is a subject. So when the subject is actually joined by this and, so we have this and here. So then according to our rule, which form of the verb that we have to use? Plural form. So we have used plural form here. So the president and the vice president are coming to the meeting. This is how we have to say. We should not say the president and the vice president is coming to the meeting, because earlier days we might have considered, or we might have thought that both of them are different people. No, not there. Sorry, both of them are same persons. Not like that, my dear. So there are different people. So whenever we are talking about different people and which is joined by this and the conjunction, make sure we have to use the plural form of the verb. Okay, take one more example. The principal, the principal and the HOD were conducting a meeting in the seminar hall. See here, the principal is a singular and the HOD is also singular, and both are different persons. And these two singular nouns are joined by this conjunction and. So that is the reason. So when the sentences are like this, when the subjects are like this, according to our rule, which form of the verb that we have to use? Plural form. So what is the plural? If you use a was, it would be singular. So what is the plural form? Okay, we use plural form here. So the principal and the HOD were conducting a meeting in the seminar hall. So this is how we have to say. So whenever you happen to say like this, so make sure this is how we have to frame the sentences. Okay, and next one, the bus and the train charges were increased due to this pandemic. See here, the bus is a singular and the train. The buses charges, the train charges. We don't say like that. Nor even the buses and the trains charges. No, we don't say. If you're talking about the bus, if the bus is actually representing its whole clan. So that is the reason. One we took example. Well, we took as an example. The bus and the train charges were increased due to this pandemic. This is how we have to use when it comes to the first rule. The first rule is here. Don't forget. The first rule is here, very clear. When the subject of a sentence, it may be singular or it may be plural. Okay, consists of two singular nouns or two plural nouns that is joined by and, and then we have to use plural form of the verb. This is what is all about rule number 1. And next, the second rule is here. It is not actually a second rule. I can exactly know if you speak exactly. So this is a note. This is a note. There is a slight difference between the first rule and this rule. Okay. So here we have two singular nouns or two plural nouns. They are different persons. The principal and the HOD are different persons. They are not the same persons. What if the two persons, the two nouns, representing to the same person, they're talking about the same person, then we have to use singular form of the verb. For example, the founder and chairman. Who is the founder here? Who's the chairman? They are not different people. Okay. Sometimes in the college, for example, our college, let's see, in our college, um, already sir is a chairman and he's also the founder. So one man is handling two positions here. One man is actually handling two positions. So then which verb that we have to use? No, the first rule? Should we apply the first rule according to this? No, we cannot, because then if you're talking about like that, they're going to be different persons, so for which you are using what do you call that, plural form of the verb. But this person, in this case, the person is actually handling two two positions, like founder is acting, like chairman is also acting. So then we have to use singular form of the verb. The founder and chairman has inaugurated the meeting. This is how we have to go after. This is how we have to tell. No confusions, my dear. If the two nouns refer to the same person, if they are referring to the same person, make sure, if the two nouns are referring to the same person, make sure we have to use singular form of the verb. If the two nouns are referring to the different persons, then we have to use plural form of the verb. Got it? And see, second example, the president and chief executive. The president and chief executive of the company has arrived. He is the person. The president is also acting as a chief executive. The chief executive is also acting as the president. So the president and chief executive of the company has arrived. What if I place the here, the founder and the chairman? If I am talking about the chairman, if I place the article the before to that, I'm going to represent another person here. So I ellipsed. Here you have, everywhere you have the here. But here you're not having that after the second noun or second pronoun. Why? Why didn't we have? Because they are representing to the same person. So that is the reason. Sorry. That is the reason. That is the reason we have to use singular form of the verb. When two nouns are representing to a same person, then we should use singular form of the verb. And second one is here, if the two nouns, that's rule number 2, if the two nouns joined together by and are thought of a single thing, the singular form of the verb is used. So here we're going to have two nouns. Don't get confused between this rule and this rule, my dear. This one is actually referring to a same person. We are talking about the same thing, about the same thing, or about the same person, or about the same place. Then we have to use singular form of the verb. And this rule is completely different. If they are referring, if the two nouns are joined by and thought of a single thing, then we have to use singular form of the verb. For example, we all love to have something in the morning, just like breakfast. Okay, when you order for idli, they serve even chutney. They don't serve it separately, just like idli. Okay, so they go together. When two things are going together as a single thing, then we have to use singular form of the verb. See, that is how it actually goes. See here, idli and chutney is my favorite breakfast, because idli and chutney are considered as a single thing. When you order for idli, or when you order for dosha, or when you order for puri, they serve chutney, they serve the puri curry, isn't that? They don't serve you in different way, and they don't even charge you separately, because they are considered as single thing. So that's the reason. Yeah. So that is how we actually written like that. Idli and chutney is my favorite breakfast. And next one is here. Bread and butter was served as my breakfast today. And of course, I love to have bread and butter every time in the morning. So that is the reason. So when I go for bread, If not bread, if no, no, when I go for bread, I definitely for sure I'm gonna have butter. If butter is not available, the immediate option that I'm going to have is jam, right? So you can place, if you love to have butter, you can place butter there. If you don't want it to have butter, you can actually place jam, right? So bread and butter was served as my breakfast today. So that is how I actually had. So remember one thing: when two nouns are actually joined by the joined by this and these two nouns are, if you're thinking these two nouns are thought of, these two nouns are thought of as a single thing, then we have to use singular form of the verb. Yeah. Next one. This is very important where everybody has to focus, because we the people who are actually making a lot of blunder mistakes when we are using them. We have to use a singular form of the verb or singular verb when we are talking about money, when we are talking about money, or when we are talking about distances, and when we are talking about period of times, when you are talking about periods of time, and when we are talking about distances, and when we are talking about sums of money, etc. When we, because we are considering them as an unit, we are considering them as a unit. So whenever we are considering them as a unit, we have to use singular form of the verb. So that is how we have to use the sentences. 3 miles is too far to walk. Normally, the basic rule what we learned earlier was this: if the subject is in plural, we have to use a plural form. But here, we are not using plural form, but we are using singular form. Saying, so if I'm not mistaken, 3 miles is actually considered as as a unit. So that is the reason we actually placed a singular verb over here. So 3 miles is too far to walk. That is how we have to say. 150 kilometers is too far on bike. And to 400 kilometers is a big distance. Is a big distance. That is how we have to go after. Yeah. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. So 5 years is also considered as a unit. So that is the reason we place the singular form of the verb. And also you can say 8 years is the maximum time to complete your engineering. That is how it goes. And next, $10 is a high price to pay. So even when we are talking about money, when we are talking about distances, when we are talking about periods of time, we the people supposed to be in the position to use a singular form of the verb as very immediate to them. Do not place any plural verb, because you should not say 3 miles are too far to walk. They sound too odd when you use the sentences like that. So that is the reason we the people supposed to be in the position to use a singular form of the verb when we actually came to know, right? That is the real way of using English language, right? Yeah. Next rule is here. Uh, Two singular subjects connected by are, or neither nor, require a singular verb. Remember one thing. Remember one thing. Whenever we are using, yeah, whenever we are using neither nor or either or as a subject of a sentence, or sometimes the nouns are actually taking this or are. So make sure we have to use a singular form of the verb. For example, my aunt or my uncle is arriving by train today. So here are is actually used. Remember one thing: whenever you are happen to use this or are, make sure you have to use singular form of the verb. What if we're going to have plurals here? If these two are plurals, then definitely we're going to use plural form of the verb. As simple. As simple. We're going to see that. We're going to see that in the coming slide. Okay. Yeah. Next one. Neither Joan or nor Carmen is available. Right. So when the subject of a sentence starts with a neither nor, make sure we have to use singular form of the verb. And also the same thing goes here. When the subject of a sentence starts with the either or, we have to use singular form of the verb. Either Kiana or Casey is helping today with the stage decorations. So according to our rule, when a subject of a sentence, when two singular subjects of a, when two singular subjects connected by are, either are, neither nor, requires what? Singular form of the verb. These are all singular form of the verbs. And what if they are connected by plural forms? What if they are connected by, sorry, plural nouns? So if they are connected by, who are connected by these, either are, or neither nor. If they are actually connected by plural nouns, then plural form of the verb is used. Either her children or their friends. So their friends is a plural and children is here plural. And this one is actually joined by this or are. So I have written this letter. So there is a flexibility when it comes to the usage of neither nor and either or and the or are. If the subject of a sentence is joined by two singular nouns, you have to use singular form of the verb. If the subject of the sentence is joined by